Good morning, church family. I am missing you so much today, but I have some exciting news to share with you today about step one of our church's reopening plan. Based on the survey results and what you shared with us, the vast majority of our church is ready to come back to worship at the first opportunity. And we were excited to see that because, of course, we're ready also to be able to meet together for worship again. Now, you may have noticed that some churches in our area, particularly some of the smaller churches in our area, have begun having worship services again, or you might see that in the next week or two and wonder, why isn't my church having worship again? And that's a fair question. But, just due to the size and the scope of our ministry and how many people we have here on our campus each weekend, we've had to be a little bit more patient to be able to reopen in a way that is safe and in a way that is in keeping with the phase guidelines that we've been given from our state leaders and our national leaders as well. But we do believe that we're just a few weeks away from being able to safely reopen and have worship together again. Now, we will continue with our online worship services for the next two Sunday mornings, May 24th and May 31st. But really, step one of our reopening plan begins 2 weeks from today on that Sunday evening, May 31st. Because that evening at 7 p.m., we're going to have a special outdoor service on the south of our campus under the trees. Encourage you to bring your lawn chairs to be able to sit together as a family and take part in a special celebration and prayer service. We're going to take time that evening just to thank the Lord for watching over our church during these months. We're also going to thank Him for the reopening of our church the following weekend and just commit that reopening to the Lord in prayer. And then, as I just said, that following Sunday, June 7th, so happy to announce that for the first time in months, we'll be able to have worship services together in our worship center at our normal times of 8:30, 10, and 11:30 a.m. Now, as this is just step one of our reopening plan, some things are going to look a little different than what you're used to on that Sunday, June the 7th. First, our seating capacity will be limited to 300 chairs in our worship center, which is about 50% of our normal seating capacity, so that we can practice adequate social distancing inside of our worship center. Also, our services will be a little bit shorter that day to allow more transition time between the services. We also won't have small groups meeting on campus in step one, just again to limit the number of people that are on our campus and in the hallways as we transition between services. We also won't have FBC Mel Kids or our preschool ministries quite yet in step one, but for our families that have younger children, we will have some family seating available in our fellowship hall that'll serve as one of our overflow rooms for our services that day. We'll be taking some other precautions as well, and we'll share more details about that as we get closer to that date. But how exciting is it that we'll be able to meet again together for worship with our brothers and with our sisters? Some other things that will begin again during step one. Our offices will reopen during that time. Our Reclaim student ministry will begin to have outdoor worship services during that time frame as well. And also, many of our small groups will begin to meet in person again during those days. Some may choose to do that in their homes or in their backyards, but also we'll begin to make available some of the larger spaces on our campus for small groups to reserve for their group meeting during the evenings throughout the week. As we move through the summer months, our hope is to be able to quickly move through the remaining steps of our reopening plan so that all of our ministries can fully return, including worship services at their full capacity, all of our small groups meeting in their normal places and at their normal times, and our children and student ministries fully returning as well. And we're going to get there, church family, by God's grace, and we're already one step closer to that goal. Now, when we return to having worship services on June the 7th, I know there may be some of you who aren't going to feel quite ready yet to return to worship on campus at that time. I want you to hear my heart and to know that that is totally okay. We have a diverse church family. Some of you watching right now may be at a higher risk for COVID-19 and may feel that for the time being, the safest thing for you to do is to remain at your homes. And I want you to rest assured that on June 7th and beyond, for the foreseeable future, we're going to continue to have a live stream of our worship service that you can safely watch from your home until you're ready to meet with us again on campus for worship. Church family, I trust that you are as excited as I am about meeting together again as step one of our reopening plan begins. Again, mark your calendar for the evening of May 31st for our celebration and prayer outdoor service. And mark your calendars also for the morning of June the 7th when we'll have our first in-person worship services here in our worship center. Church family, I love you and I can't wait to see you. But in the meantime, let's continue to pray for one another, to love one another well, and to love our community in Jesus' name.